I was working on this Purple Heart seam ripper and it's just looking absolutely beautiful. I just finished micro meshing it and I was preparing to polish it when I noticed something. Take a look at this white area. Now I did not sand through the CA. There's still plenty of CA on there. This is either between the layers of CA or below the CA glue. I'm betting it's below the CA. It's difficult to tell for sure. I did use activator on this blank. But what I'm concerned about, this was an old blank or older blank. It's been in the shop for a while. It was dry when I got it. I'm not concerned about there being moisture in the blank. It's not an exceptionally humid day today, but I did clean this blank with denatured alcohol, and I'm wondering if I just didn't give it enough time to fully evaporate, and that is what caused that. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I'm going with. The only way to fix that is to sand that back down. So I'm going to start with about 220. I'll go 320 and then 400. I don't think I need to go back as aggressive as the 150, but I'm going to sand this little bulb down and get it cleaned up again, and then we're going to refinish. And as I refinish, I won't just finish the bulb. I'm only going to sand the bulb down, but I won't just finish the bulb. I'll go ahead and wipe the entire surface of the blank. That way my CA is a nice continuous coat from end to end, and then we'll come back and micro mesh it again. But we should be able to fix this with just sanding it back down and refinishing it. Hate to do that, but it's what we got to do to fix this beautiful piece of wood. I sanded my blank back down and I cleaned it with denatured alcohol, and then I put it between my nonstick bushings, and I cleaned it a second time with denatured alcohol because I did touch it, and I want to make sure my fingers have not touched this blank. What I'm going to do now is just go ahead and attempt to apply several coats of CA and see what happens. I'm not seeing the white, which I didn't see it before until I micro meshed. And I think what may have happened is, this is my guess now, I didn't wait long enough for the denatured alcohol to dry. The blank still held the moisture. When I started sanding with the micro mesh pads, even though I was using water to help keep it cool, it does build heat, and that heat probably caused that water to sort of evaporate underneath the glue, which gave me the haze. That is a complete speculation, but that is the only thing I can figure that happened. So let's go ahead and finish getting my CA on this blank. I'm going to go ahead and kill the camera right now. I'll put 3 more coats of thin and 2 more coats of medium, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at the blank right before we micro mesh to make sure we don't see anything, and then we'll micro mesh, check it again. So far it's looking really good though. I just finished putting the CA glue on my blank. I've gone ahead and got rid of the nonstick bushings and put the standard bushings back on. It looks really good. I don't see any blemishes in this end down here. This is the end that had the trouble, but last time it looked pretty good until I started micro meshing. So until we do the micro mesh pads, until we run through them, we're not going to know for sure. So that's what we're going to do right now. Looks like it's starting to haze up a little bit already. I don't know, hopefully that's just the scratches from the micro mesh. And you can see it brought it back just a little bit. It's actually getting worse as it just sort of sits there. I don't understand what happened there. This time I let it dry for a reasonable amount of time. When it's damp, it's covered up. Let me try a little polish on there and see if maybe I got some incredibly fine scratches, but I don't think so. I really think that is below the surface, and I think I'm going to have to take it down again. Let me try a little polish. That actually helped a little bit. It may actually be in the surface. Let me polish it a couple of more times here and see if it makes any difference. This time I'm really going to get in there and work this back bead really hard. See if I can get, help it all. Ooh, that got hot. I worked it a little too much. Let's get the rest of the blank so we got a nice even polish on it. We'll come back down to this bead, work it a little more. Could be my CA glue. Possibly I need to think about that. I mean, I just bought this glue, but that doesn't mean anything. I see the white spot spinning. I can see something in there, some kind of a blemish. Let's take a closer look. No, it's just a glaze, a shine. It's looking really pretty. Well, that may be it. I tell you what, we're going to polish it again. I'm going to hit it one more time with the polish really good, and we're going to see if see what it looks like. Get my light down there and without. I was trying to get some good light on there, but it's really hard to do. It looks like it was on the surface. It looks like it's polished out. I don't know if maybe my micro mesh pads are just wore out or if my CA glue, there's something with that, but it looks amazing. It was able to polish that little blemish right out. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I had a couple of blanks here where the tube did not go all the way into the blank. It went partially in and the glue grabbed and that was it. It was going no farther. So it's a 10mm tube. What I did is I just grabbed another 10mm tube and I inserted it from the other side and butted it up against this tube so that it now is like a single tube all the way through the blank. I just need to shorten this. This one was the same thing. It got almost all the way in on both of these, and like I said, the glue grabbed. So I went ahead and I've glued another tube in and slid it all the way in and butted it against the tube in each of those. What we're going to do, we'll separate this one, but we need to take a look at these blanks, and I've marked this one. This is U for upper barrel, lower barrel, and upper barrel. I know that the upper barrel, that's the one we're going to work on first, is 1 inch and 15/16. So I've set my calipers to exactly 1 inch and 15/16. What we're going to do is we're going to take these over to the bandsaw and we're going to cut the angle off of both ends. We'll cut the tubes off, we'll bring it back to the barrel trimmer, and we're going to barrel trim, and with the angle on there I'll be able to slide the calipers onto the tube, and when I hit 1 and 15/16 inches while barrel trimming, I'll know that my blank is the proper length. Once we get that one done, we'll change the length to 2 1/16 of an inch for the lower barrel, and I'll do the same exact thing. This may make a little more sense as I show you the progress. First thing we want to do is just get rid of the excess tube. Now I'm just going to cut an angle off of each side of the blank so that I can more easily get my calipers onto the blank to test while I'm barrel trimming. Hopefully that will be enough. If not, I can always come back and knock a little more off. Let me get the other blanks separated and cut like this, and then we'll go to the barrel trimmer and start cleaning them up. I always cut my blanks a little longer than necessary. So on this blank, I'm going to go ahead and just sort of face this off to get rid of this tube, and then we'll separate the tube from the other end, and we'll get our angles cut. I'll do the same thing for the opposite end. I brought the two upper blanks over here to the drill press, and I've gone ahead and chucked up my 10mm barrel trimmer, and I'm going to trim these. I took the lower blank and I got it away from the drill press because it is 2 1/16 inches versus 1 15/16, and I didn't want to accidentally barrel trim it down and make it too short to where I couldn't turn the pin. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to barrel trim one side of each blank to get it cleaned up, and then we'll come back and we'll barrel trim the other side down as far as you need to go to make this the exact length that it needs to be for the upper blank of my pin. We just go nice and easy. We don't need to go real deep. We just want to get a good clean surface, and that's barrel trimmed to a nice flat surface. I'm real happy with that. Now what we'll do is we'll flip this over and we'll start working down the other end. Before we do, let's take a quick measurement with our caliper to kind of get an idea for how much material we might need to remove from this blank. Now what I'm going to do is check for resistance, and I have a lot of resistance there. So I'll drop this down, I'll rotate the blank 90 degrees, I'll pop it back into the vise. That's a little better there, but I'm going to try a couple other positions and see if I can get one. There's virtually no resistance at this particular angle. So that's the one we want. We'll drop it down a little bit, and let's go ahead and apply our CA glue. We got a little bit of tube still sticking up above the surface, but the barrel trimmer will remove that no problem. Okay, I'm going to shut the camera off for a second while I let this soak in. We'll come back, hit it with the activator, and trim it. It's set for about 30 seconds. That ought to let it soak down in there about as far as it's going to go. Spritz it with a little activator. It's dry. And now let's chuck it back up in the vise. Make sure we still have no resistance. We're going to trim this. We're definitely not going to get down as far as we need to go on this first round. We're just going to trim down a little bit, and I'm going to keep a close eye on the blank and see if there's any chew out at all. If I start to see it chewing, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to get some more CA on there. So you just want to go really slow with this. Okay, let's measure real quick, and you can see that we are still not quite there. Looks like we have quite a bit left to take off, but we're gonna give it some more glue because you can see there's a couple little marks there where it's kind of looks like it might be tearing a little bit. So let's just park it in the blank or in the vise. Let's hit it again with a little bit of thin CA. No resistance. Let's go ahead and trim. Taking away a little material. Let's get our calipers back out. We still have a ways to go, but we're getting closer. Let's go ahead and hit it with some more CA. We're extremely close. One more pass. I didn't apply CA that last time because the surface still looked pretty good. We are right there. I am starting to tear out again, so I will do the CA, and I'm hoping this may be the last pass that we have to make on this blank. I cut a little bit sharper angle on the edge of the blank so that I could get easy access to the barrel trimmed part of the blank, and when I use my calipers, it's perfect fit and there is no play, so I'm right at 1 15/16 of an inch. This blank is ready for the lathe. I'm going to repeat the process for this blank. However, this blank is relatively solid. I won't need to use any of the CA glue. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the same procedure to the lower blank that I used on the upper blank. I just need to reset my calipers to 1 1/16, and I'm not going to film it because it's pretty much the same thing. I'm going to put a little CA glue on here, let it sit for a minute, then I'll trim, I'll measure, a little CA glue, trim, measure. It's a drawn out process, but it will give me a perfect length blank every time.